Okay, welcome everybody. Canopy section, part two. Little sinusy, little under the weather, so sorry about that. But here we go. Um, a lot of this has been even increased in speed due to the fact that it's rather boring. And there's really not a whole lot of gotchas in this section. I will say though, the plans say follow it to a T, and I have been doing that. Not going off plans here because I don't want to impart any twist. There are a few sections of this which I did slow back down to the regular speed, this being one of them. You'll see with that digital level that I have in the middle there, that's now gone, that I go back and forth on these flat pieces that are sticking straight up on either side. Right there, I'm doing that. And I am making 1000% sure that this is level. I had to use another 2x6, I think that was, on the back side to make sure that the forward or the upward facing part of the canopy deck was somewhat level to start with. It was a lot to kind of shim that, and then you're just going back and forth, clecoing every hole, and it is tedious. It is horrendous. This is another part that I somewhat slowed down, not this very specifically, but coming up here somewhat shortly. These side pieces to the canopy, you want to make sure two things: that you get the bow correct in them so that they are bowed correctly to the longerons on the fuselage. You'll see me doing that here very shortly. And then you want to make sure that they're mostly perpendicular to each other. One of the support pieces that Vans provides helps a lot with that. Right here is where I'm checking the bow, and you just want to go back and forth and make absolutely sure you have that bowing correct. Then in the next video, you will see me, once the canopy is on and you're riveting these side pieces, you'll see I put a clamp inside. So internally, I essentially locked myself into the aircraft while my buddy Mike had the rivet gun on the outside of the aircraft. And I clamped one side to where it was perfectly aligned with the fuselage. And then I used a 2x4 and some pressure to clamp the other side and make sure that was perfectly aligned. Now, if you don't have it almost perfect to begin with, you're going to put too much pressure on the canopy and you're most likely going to crack it. Luckily for me, it was just a slight amount of pressure, which would have ever so slightly misaligned the holes in the canopy glass, but it didn't end up being a problem. That's why you have to be close to perfect in this stage of the game before moving on to the plexiglass stage of the game. Other than that, I don't have a whole lot of tips. It's just, especially whenever you're putting that thick doubler on the side of the canopy here, you can see it at the bottom somewhat, facing closest to the camera. But whenever you're match drilling that thick doubler on either side of this canopy right here, you're definitely going to want to make sure that everything's level and perfectly straight. But yeah, again, this was sped up a whole lot because I just didn't want to ramble on for 11 and a half minutes when 5 will do. I tried a longer yoke on the squeezer. I couldn't get in there. I had to manually buck pretty much everything. This right here is pull rivets. Again, followed very closely to plans because it tells you exactly what pull rivets to do when. And then, yeah, that's just about it. Next section is moving on to the glass and the fun that comes with that. I'll see everybody in the next one.